is stress? The word stress comes from the English language and originally meant the testing of metals or glass for their resistance to pressure. Biochemist Hans Selye adapted the concept of stress to the field of medicine and psychology. Selye found that in the event of a strong environmental stimulus, such as a cold wave, the body exhibits a non-specific alarm response. Further studies have shown that this non-specific reaction can be triggered by various events. Stressful stimuli on the body can be physical or psychological in nature. So, what is the definition of stress? Selye calls stress a non-specific reaction of the organism to any demands placed on it. However, he takes as his starting point a neutral understanding of the phenomenon of stress. He speaks of stress when the organism reacts with activity for a stimulus from the environment. This reaction can occur in the case of both negative and positive experiences. Negative stress is called distress, and positive stress is called eustress. Stress is the body's active response to demands and emerging threats, which we call stressors. We distinguish between stressors, physical, including heat, cold, noise, temperature fluctuations, changes in air pressure, hunger, infections, physical trauma, hard physical work, prolonged driving, excess stimuli. Mental stressors. These include fear of not being able to cope with the task, overloading with tasks, underloading with tasks, lack of independence, lack of time, rushing, loss of control. Social stressors. These include conflicts, isolation, unwanted visitations, loss of loved ones, bullying. Stress is an offshoot of situational demands and an individual's assessment of his or her own resources and skills. In a stressful situation, we always make two assessments. Primary evaluation. Does the specific event entail a threat, and is it therefore significant in terms of stress? Secondary evaluation. What are the options for dealing with a particular stressor? If we do not perceive an event as threatening, then it does not cause stress. However, when we assess a situation as threatening to us, and thus consider it significant, the secondary assessment will determine whether we react to the event with stress. If it is possible to combat the stress, the intensity of the stress response will oscillate within the tolerable norm. The worse we assess our ability to cope with a situation, the more stress we feel. Remember that stress depends on the attitude, experiences, and personal mental constitution of the individual person. Thus, stress is the result of a combination of two factors: the impact of some stressor and the way a person reacts to that stressor. It is our response to the stressor that determines whether we succumb to stress or rather peak performance.